Let's be real. Everything has its stupid moments, humans and animals alike. Honestly, there is no shortage of videos online showcasing human stupidity, but you don't even need the internet. Just go outside long enough, and you'll run into plenty of idiots. Scrolling through TikTok recently, I noticed a lot of animals getting a bad rap as the dumbest species alive. Well, this video is here to clear their names. After doing some digging, I realized there is no scientifically calculated ranking for animal stupidity. Most of those videos are highly subjective. People just look at an animal's behavior or habitat, decide it acts dumb, and call it a day. But if we're talking about true biological stupidity, an animal has to meet at least two criteria: an extremely simple nervous system, documented limitations in learning and problem solving. Honestly, sounds exactly like my buddy. Based on those criteria, there actually are a few groups scientifically recognized as dumb. Top 1, sea sponges. They literally don't have a nervous system in any traditional sense, so yeah, they're dumb. Top 2, placozoa. Technically animals, so they take the silver medal. Runners up: oysters, clams, sea squirts, hydras. Basically anything that just sits there and never moves. Scientifically, these guys are the dumbest. But making a whole video about clams keeping their mouths shut all day is incredibly boring. So today, we're going to talk about the animals that seem dumb, but actually aren't. The koala, not a bear. First up is the koala. Despite the nickname, it's not a bear. It's a marsupial, kind of like a kangaroo. But instead of hopping on the ground, they live in trees. And they don't hop in trees either, because then they'd just be monkeys. Visually, they're chubby, cute, with big heads, round ears, and fluffy fur. They mostly live in Australian eucalyptus forests. Here's a fun fact. Their diet consists almost entirely of eucalyptus leaves. These leaves are low in nutrients, incredibly hard to chew, and literally toxic. Because their food is basically poison with zero stats, their entire lifestyle revolves around saving energy. They do this by sleeping 20 hours a day to give their bodies time to detox. Respect. I also need to sleep as much as a koala. When koala joeys are born, their guts can't process eucalyptus yet, so they opt for a safer alternative: their mom's poop. Yep, it contains the essential gut bacteria they need to build up their poison resistance. They have to eat mom's poop for about a year to build a natural immune system before they can unlock the skill of chewing eucalyptus leaves. But that's just survival behavior. To see if they're actually dumb, you have to look at their brains. A koala brain looks like a smooth piece of chicken breast. It's incredibly small and totally flat, like zero wrinkles. It looks pretty stupid. However, they aren't quite top-tier dumb because inside that smooth brain, they still have neurons like other intelligent animals. They have a notorious rumor. If you pick eucalyptus leaves off a branch and put them on a plate, a koala won't recognize it as food. This is totally exaggerated. The real reason they don't eat it is because they are incredibly picky eaters. In captivity, they refuse to eat dried leaves. They only eat fresh leaves off freshly cut branches. That's honestly pretty smart. Also, they aren't completely helpless. When threatened, they will fight back with their claws and teeth. They don't just lay there and take a beating, which is why they still survive pretty well in the wild. Bonus fact: if you pick a koala up while it's stressed, it will pee all over you to relieve its anxiety. Good to know. The cane toad. This guy is infamous in Australia, but it's not actually native there. Its roots are in Central and South America. They thrive in Australia simply because they have no natural predators. Their standout feature? They are an absolute menace to eat. 99% of animals humans included that eat a cane toad will drop dead because they are highly toxic. They're also massive. The females are even bigger than the males. Historical lore. I read that some ancient tribes used cane toad venom to coat their arrowheads for some extra magic damage. There are even claims that the Olmec people used it as a psychedelic. If anyone knows if that's legit, drop a comment to clear their name. These toads have a really arrogant habit of thinking, "I'm toxic, I can do whatever I want," so they will attack any opponent regardless of weight class. They also have a very peculiar habit of humping the wrong things. Instead of doing the deed with a female cane toad, males will sometimes mistakenly mount other males, different species, dead animals, or even random inanimate objects. Why? Because toads are always in a frantic rush to breed when the short rainy season hits. Competition is so fierce that it's the most important event of their lives. Their instinct basically tells them, better to hug the wrong thing than to hug too late. The males just grab first and ask questions later. If the size, movement, and texture feel somewhat right, they go to work. If they realize they're wrong, oh well, on to the next. Honestly, that's just a species-wide trait, not just a cane toad thing. Sometimes humans act like that too. The kakapo, the owl parrot. This bird's face looks exactly like an owl, with greenish-yellow feathers and some dark brown patches. In Maori, kakapo means night parrot because they sleep all day and party at night. Here is a list of things the kakapo cannot do: fly, have quick reflexes, breed rapidly, climb well, run away from danger. Whenever it gets attacked, its famous defense mechanism is to literally stand perfectly still and hope the enemy ignores it. It sounds like a spectacularly stupid strategy, and it's a big reason why they are highly endangered. But here's the reality. That freeze tactic worked perfectly in their original environment. Back in the day, there were no humans in New Zealand and no introduced predators. When humans finally showed up and brought feral cats, rats, and stoats, the kakapo suddenly had to face enemies it wasn't built for. Basically, they were surviving just fine until the meta changed, and now everyone thinks they're the dumbest bird on Earth. The honey badger. First off, it's not a badger. It's a weasel. These things have absolute crackhead energy. They are reckless, stubborn, and incredibly fast. They are the outliers on this list. Other animals get called dumb because they look goofy, act lazy, or seem clumsy. The honey badger gets called dumb because it is so recklessly aggressive that it literally does not know fear. If you've watched nature documentaries, you know they have thick, tough, rubbery skin and a natural resistance to venom. Basically, they spawned with heavy armor and max magic resistance. Because of this, they just tank damage, play around with venomous snakes, and pick fights with lions. But is it stupidity? No. Honey badgers hunt snakes, including highly venomous ones, for food. As for the big predators, badgers rarely start the beef. Most documented cases show the honey badger being backed into a corner by leopards, lions, or hyenas, causing it to snap and fight back aggressively to survive. Also, they don't fight tigers because they don't share the same habitat. Fighting back when a bigger animal tries to eat you isn't dumb, it's just self-defense. The only truly dumb weasel out there is the blue one, the ostrich, famous for the myth, "If I can't see you, you can't see me." People think ostriches bury their heads in the sand to hide from predators. I don't know who the ostrich told that to, but zoologists say that lowering their long necks to the ground is just how they inspect the dirt and take care of their eggs. It has absolutely nothing to do with hiding. So, they aren't that stupid. Aside from being the biggest, heaviest, fastest-running flightless bird, they are also the only bird with just 2 toes. Most birds need 3 or 4 to balance. This massive unit only needs 2. They are mostly herbivores, but will occasionally snack on small lizards, frogs, or mice. Since they don't have teeth, they swallow rocks and pebbles to act as a blender in their stomachs to grind up their food. The giant panda. Easily one of the most recognizable animals on Earth. Even though they belong to the carnivore order, 99% of their diet is bamboo. Bamboo is notoriously hard to digest. So, much like the koala, pandas spend their entire day eating and doing absolutely nothing else just to process the sheer amount of food they stuff into their mouths. They are famously clumsy, slow, and constantly falling asleep. We even made a movie where one beats up every other martial arts animal. There's a viral video from a zoo where a mother panda seemingly trades her baby to a zookeeper for an apple. People flooded the comments calling the panda an idiot for selling out her kid for a snack. But here's the issue. That was a single, isolated incident of an animal raised in captivity. It doesn't represent the whole species. In the wild, if a panda feels threatened, it will absolutely lose its mind and attack you. And a slap from a panda will do serious damage. The turkey, the Thanksgiving staple. Turkeys are famous for enforcing a highly strict social hierarchy, the pecking order. They will attack anything they deem subordinate, including other birds and humans. Basically, they act like mobsters. People always bring up the fact that turkeys are so dumb they don't understand rain, so they stare up at the sky and drown. I honestly don't know where this myth came from. Sure, they might not actively avoid the rain, but that's just because they don't need to. My parents used to raise chickens, and some were dumb enough to stand in the rain, while others ran for cover. It comes down to the individual bird's intelligence, not the whole species. Turkeys also got slapped with the label that they'll try to mate with literally anything, even a fake female or a tree. And those are the most misunderstood dumb animals in the world. Honestly, researching this, I found a lot of animals that actually are incredibly stupid, but calling these specific guys the dumbest is just a bad rap. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the next video.